Once upon a time, in a quiet village of Noro, a strange woman arrived. Her name was Zara. She wore a long black cloak and carried a wooden staff. No one knew where she came from, but they noticed something different about her. Her eyes were bright like the moon, and her hair was as dark as the night sky. The villagers whispered about her, wondering if she was a witch or a lost traveler. One day, Zara tried to buy bread from the bakery, but the baker's wife, Amina, pulled her children closer and whispered, "Stay away from her. She brings bad luck." And other villagers nodded, and no one said anything to Zara. Even though Zara had a kind smile, they were afraid of her. After Zara's arrival, strange things began to happen in the village. The cows stopped giving milk, and the chickens stopped laying eggs. The river, which was always full of fish, became empty. The villagers grew worried and began to believe Zara had cursed their village. "It's her," they shouted. "She's the reason for our trouble." One night, the village chief, Old Kato, decided to talk to Zara. He went to her small house at the edge of the village. "Why have you come to our village?" he asked, his voice trembling. Zara looked at him with sad eyes and said, "I'm not here to harm anyone. I've come to find peace." But Kato did not believe her. He returned to the villagers and said, "We must send her away. She's the cause of the suffering." The next day, the villagers gathered in the square. They were hungry and scared. "We must protect our children," cried Amina. "We cannot let this curse continue." Everyone agreed and they decided to send Zara away. They knocked on her door and shouted, "Leave our village, witch! You are not welcome here." Zara opened the door, her face filled with tears. "Please," she begged, "I have nowhere else to go. I'm not a witch, I promise." But the villagers did not listen. They shouted louder, and Zara knew she had to leave. She packed her small bag and walked away from the village, her head bowed low. Zara walked through the dark forest, and with every step, she felt her heart growing heavier. She wondered if she would ever find a place where she was welcome. Zara walked for days, feeling tired and hungry. The forests were thick, and the path was hard to see. She stumbled on the rock and fell, but she got up each time and determined to keep moving. She remembered the kind smile of her mother and the gentle voice of her father, who had always told her to be strong. She reached a river and drank water with her hands. She looked into the water and saw her reflection. Her eyes looked sadder, and her face was pale. She whispered to herself, "Why did this happen to you? Why do they think I'm a curse?" As Zara sat by the river, a small deer came close to her. The deer had a big, gentle eyes and looked at Zara as if it understood her pain. Zara smiled for the first time in days. She gently reached out her hand, and the deer did not run away. "Hello, little friend," she said softly. "Are you lost too?" The deer nodded as if it understood her words. Zara felt a warm feeling in her heart. She had found a friend. She decided to follow the deer, hoping it would lead her to a new place, a safe place where she would be happy again. But little did she know, a great challenge was still ahead of her. The deer led Zara through the thick forest, moving quickly but always looked back to make sure she was following. After walking for hours, they arrived at the eating cave surrounded by tall trees and bright flowers. The cave looked dark and mysterious, but Zara felt a strange sense of comfort, as if it was calling her. The deer stopped at the entrance, and Zara took a deep breath and stepped inside. At first, it was pitch black, but soon Tiny lights began to appear on the walls, like stars in the night sky. She realized the lights were small glowing crystals, shining brightly. She reached out to touch one, and it was warm. As she went deeper into the cave, Zara heard a soft whispering sound. She followed the sound until she reached a large stone. On the stone, there was an old book, covered in dust. Zara carefully opened the book and saw strange symbols and drawings. "What is this?" she whispered. Suddenly, a soft voice echoed through the cave. "Welcome, Zara," it said. Zara looked around and she saw no one. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice shaking. "I'm the spirit of the forest," the voice replied. "I've been waiting for you." Zara felt both fear and curiosity. "Why have you been waiting for me?" she asked. The spirit's voice was gentle. "You have been misunderstood, Zara. The villagers do not know the truth. You are not a curse. You have a gift, a power within you, but it has been hidden by the dark spell." Zara's eyes widened. "A dark spell? But I don't know any magic." The spirit continued. "Long ago, someone placed a curse on you, so others would fear you, but you have the power to break it. The book you found holds the secret. Learn its way and you will find your true strength." Zara looked at the book again, and the symbols seemed to glow brighter. She felt a pull in her heart, a feeling she couldn't explain. "What must I do?" she asked the spirit. "Study the book and believe in yourself," the spirit replied. "You must learn to understand your gift. Only then you can break the curse." Zara nodded, her fear turning into determination. She sat on the stone floor and began to study the strange symbols. The more she read, the more she felt the book speaking to her heart. She learned about kindness, courage, and the power of love. She realized the book was not about magic spells, but about the magic within her. While Zara was deep in her studies, she heard a noise at the entrance of the cave. She turned around and saw a young boy, shivering in cold. His clothes were torn, and he looked scared. "Help me, please," he cried. Zara quickly went to him and wrapped her cloak around his small shoulders. "What happened?" she asked gently. "I got lost in the forest," the boy said, tears in her eyes. "I tried to find my way back home, but I couldn't. I'm so scared." Zara hugged him closely and whispered, "Don't worry, you are safe now. I'll help you find your way back home." The boy looked up at her with trust eyes, and Zara felt a warmth in her heart. Zara decided to take the boy back to the village, even though she knew the villagers had rejected her. She held the boy's hand and followed the deer, which seemed to know the way. As they walked, Zara felt nervous, but she also felt stronger than before. She knew she had to hope no matter what. When they reached the edge of the villagers saw Zara and the boy. At first, they were hungry, shouting, "Go away, Zara! You are not welcome here." But they noticed the boy. "That's Amina's son," one of them shouted. Amina, the baker's wife, ran forward and hugged her son tightly. "Thank you for bringing him back," she whispered to Zara. For a moment, the village was silent. They didn't know what to say. Zara stood tall and said, "I'm not here to hurt anyone. I only wish to live in peace." The villagers were still afraid. but they were also surprised. Maybe Zara was not what they thought, after all. Amina looked at Zara, torn between fear and gratitude. She had always been the first to call Zara a witch, but now Zara had saved her son. "Why did you help him?" Amina asked softly. Zara smiled gently. "Because it was the right thing to do," she replied. "I only want to help, not to harm." Amina felt a warmth in her heart, but she was still unsure. She turned to the villagers and said, Maybe we were wrong about her." But the other villagers shook their head. "She brought the bad luck. We cannot trust her," they cried. Amina felt the weight of their anger, but she knew in her heart that Zara had done a good thing. Just then, the village elder, a wise woman named Mama Juma, stepped forward. She had a walking stick and eyes that seemed to see everything. "Let us not be too quick to judge," she said in a calm but firm voice. "Zara has done good indeed today, but there are still many questions." Mama Juma looked deep into Zara's eyes. "Child, there is something different about you," she whispered. "I see a light, but also a shadow. Tell me, what brought you to our village?" Zara took a deep breath and told her story. The curse, the rejection, and the book in the cave. She spoke with honesty, but her voice trembled with the weight of her words. The villagers listened quietly, some still suspicious, but others curious. Mama Juma nodded slowly. "If what you said is true, then you must prove it. There is a test you must pass to show your heart is pure." Zara's eyes widened, but she nodded. "I'll do whatever it takes," she said bravely. Mama Juma took a pouch from her waist and sprinkled some fine white powder into the bowl. "This is the taste of truth," she explained. "You must drink this and it will show if your heart is good or filled with evil." Zara took the bowl with shaking hands. She looked at the villagers, then back at Mama Juma. She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and drank the liquid. The villagers gossiped, waiting to see what would happen next. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Zara began to feel a strange sensation. Her body felt light and her head felt dizzy. She could hear whispers in her ears, like a wind talking to her. She swayed on her feet and villagers watched, holding their breath. Suddenly, a bright light surrounded Zara. The villagers gossiped and stepped back, their eyes widened with fear and wonder. The light grew brighter and brighter, and then just suddenly it disappeared. Zara felt on her knees, but she felt calm. "What does it mean?" she whispered. Mama Juma smiled kindly. "It means you speak the truth. Your heart is pure, but there is still much you don't know." Mama Juma turned to the villagers and spoke with authority. "Zara is not our enemy. She has been cursed, but she's not the one who brought curse upon us. There is a prophecy long forgotten that speaks of a woman with a bright heart who would come to our village. She would bring both challenge and change. I believe Zara is that woman." Villagers murmured in surprise. Some nodded, while others still unsure. "What does it mean?" asked Amina. "What must we do?" Mama Juma looked at Zara. "You must continue your journey," she said softly. "You must learn to control the power within you and find the one who cast you. Only then you can lift the darkness that hangs over us all. Zara felt a new determination in her heart. I'll do it. I promise. I'll find the truth and I'll free myself from this curse. The next morning, Zara prepared to leave the village again. This time, she was not alone. Mama Juma gave her a small bag filled with herbs and a map marked with ancient symbols. This will guide you, she said, but be careful. The journey will not be easy and you will face many tests. Amina and few other villagers gave her food, water for a journey. I hope you find what you're looking for, Amina said, her voice kind and hopeful. Zara thanked them and set off once more into the forest. She felt nervous but also excited. For the first time, she had hope that she could find the answers she needed. She had friends now, even if only a few, that gave her the strength. As Zara walked deeper into the forest, the air grew colder and the trees seemed to whisper her name. She held the map tightly, following the path marked by Mama Juma. The forest was full of strange creatures, glowing birds and talking squirrels, the flowers that sang when touched. Zara felt a mix of fear and wonder. She knew the forest was enchanted, but she also knew she had to be brave. As she moved forward, she heard a voice from behind a large oak tree. "Who goes there?" it asked. Zara froze, but then she remembered the teaching from the book. "I'm Zara," she said boldly. "I seek the truth, the way to break my curse." The voice chuckled softly. "Then you've come to the right place. But are you truly ready to face the shadows of your past?" From behind the oak tree, a figure stepped forward. It was a tall woman, cloaked in a dark leaves, with eyes as green as a millard's. She carried a wooden staff that seemed to hum with energy. "I'm Nyoka, the guardian of shadows," she said in a voice that was both soft and strong. "If you seek the truth, you must answer 3 questions. Fail, you will be lost in the forest forever." Zara's heart pounded, but she nodded. "I'm ready," she said, standing tall. Nyoka smiled, but her eyes remained serious. "The first question," Nyoka began. "Who are you truly?" Zara hesitated. I'm Zara," she replied, "a woman who was cast and rejected by her village." But as she said this, she realized it wasn't the full answer. "I'm also someone who wants to help others and find my true self." Nyoka nodded. "That is a good beginning," she said. "But you must look deeper now. The second question, what do you fear the most?" Zara's hands trembled. What did she fear the most? She thought of the villagers' hungry faces, the loneliness of the forest, and the dark spell that had been cast on her. But then she understood. "I fear being alone," she admitted softly. "I fear that no one will ever understand me or love me for who I am." Nyoka's eyes softened. "A true fear indeed," she said. "And now, the final question. What do you seek?" Zara did not hesitate this time. "I seek freedom from this curse. I want to find out who I am without this dark shadow over me. I want to be accepted and loved." Nyoka smiled and her staff glowed brighter. "You have answered truly. You have faced your fears, Zara. But remember, the answers are only the beginning of your journey." Nyoka raised her staff and a bright light filled the forest. Zara covered her eyes, and when she opened them, She saw two paths before her. One was bright and gold, and the other dark and shady. You must choose your path, Nyoka said, but be warned, both paths will test you. Zara stared at the two paths. The gold path seemed safe and warm, but the dark path seemed to call to her, whispering secrets she needed to know. She closed her eyes and listened to her heart. She felt a pull towards the dark path. I choose the path of the shadow, she said firmly. Nyoka nodded approvingly. A wise choice. Sometimes, to find the light, one must walk through the darkness. With a wave of harsh staff, the dark path became clearer, and Nyoka disappeared into the mist. As Zara walked down the shady path, she could hear whispers all around her. They were soft at first, but they grew louder with each step. You will never break the curse, they hissed. You are not strong enough. Zara felt fear creeping into her heart, but she remembered Nyoka's words. Face your fears. She took a deep breath and said loud, I'm not afraid of you, and I'll find my way. The whispers grew quieter, as if surprised by her bravery. She continued on, her steps becoming steadier. The path twisted and turned, and she felt like she was walking in circles. But then she saw a faint light ahead. She hurried towards it, hoping it was a sign she was on the right track. The light led Zara to a small clearing where a tall, shining mirror stood in the center. She approached it curiously, feeling the magic in the air. When she looked into the mirror, she saw her reflection, but it was not like she expected. Her reflection looked tired and sad, with tears streaming down her face. Why do you cry? Zara asked her reflection. The reflection spoke back in her own voice. Because I feel lost and unloved. I'm afraid I'll never find my place in this world. Zara felt a pang in her heart. She realized that this reflection was part of her, the part that still felt scared and alone. She reached out and touched the mirror. It's okay to feel lost, she whispered, but we are not alone anymore. We have strength inside us. We have hope. As she spoke, her reflection changed. The tears disappeared, and a small smile appeared. The light around the mirror grew brighter, and Zara felt a warmth in her heart. The mirror began to fade, leaving a glowing path ahead. Zara followed the new path, feeling lighter and braver. She came upon a small cottage with smoke curling from the chimney. She knew this was where her journey had to lead her. She knocked on the door, and an old woman opened it. The woman had kind eyes, but Zara could sense a hidden strength within her. Come in, child, the old woman said softly. I've been expecting you. Zara stepped inside and saw the walls covered with strange symbols, the same symbols she had been seeing in the book. Who are you? Zara asked. The woman smiled. I'm Layla, the keeper of the old ways. I know who cast you, Zara, and I know why. Zara's heart raced. Please, tell me, she begged. Layla nodded and began to explain. Long ago, someone in your family hungered a powerful sorcerer. She cast a curse that would pass down through the generation until someone with a pure heart and a brave soul would come to break it. You, Zahara, are that person. Zara felt a rush of emotions, hunger, sadness, and confusion. Why did they curse us? She asked, her voice trembling. Layla sighed. The sorcerer was wrong, and in her pain, she chose revenge. But now, only you can choose what to do next. You can continue the circle of hunger, or you can forgive and break the curse forever. Zara thought about her journey, the pain, the loneliness, the strength she found. She knew she had to do it. I choose forgiveness, she whispered. I choose to end the curse. Layla smiled and a bright light filled the cottage. You have chosen wisely, child. The curse is broken. Zara felt a weight lift off her shoulders, and a lightness filled her heart. She thanked Layla and began her journey back to the village. As she walked, the forest seemed brighter and the birds sang sweeter, and the air was filled with scent of fresh flowers. When she reached the village, the people were waiting for her. They heard about her journey, and many were curious, others still afraid. Mama Juma stepped forward. Have you found what we are seeking? She asked. Zara nodded, her smile wide. Yes, and I have broken the curse. I only asked for a chance to prove that I'm not your enemy, but your friend. The villagers murmured around themselves, unsure what to believe. But Amina stepped forward and said, She saved my son. She's not a curse but a blessing. One by one, the villagers began to come forward, some with smiles, others with questions. Zara welcomed them all, sharing her story and lessons she had learned. She showed them the book from the cave. She now seemed to glow with gentle light. This book taught me that true magic comes from within, she said, from kindness, courage, and the power to forgive. The villagers listened, and slowly their fear began to fade. Mama Juma nodded in approval. You've done well, Zara. You have shown us that even in the darkest time, there is light. Zara was given a small home in the village, and soon people came to her for advice and stories. She helped with their troubles, sharing the wisdom she had gained on her journey. The river flowed again, the cows gave milk, and the chickens laid eggs. The village felt alive and happy once more. But Zara did not forget the lesson she had learned. She knew that challenges would come again, but she felt ready to face them with love and courage. The villagers came to see her not as a stranger, but as one of their own. To celebrate Zara's return, the villagers decided to hold a festival of light. They hung lanterns from the trees, lit candles, and danced around a big bonfire. Zara was the guest of honor. She felt shy but happy. As she stood by the fire, she saw Amina, Mama Juma, and all the villagers smiling at her. Zara gave a small speech. Thank you for giving me a chance, she said. I have learned that even when we feel cursed, there is always a way to find the light. Thank you for being my light. The villagers cheered, and Zara felt tears of joy in her eyes. For the first time, she truly felt at home. As the festival continued, Mama Juma approached Zara with a small wrapped bundle in her hands. This is for you, child, she said, her voice calm and kind. A gift from the village to thank you for your courage and kindness. Zara unwrapped the bundle and found a beautiful necklace made of smooth river stones, each one carefully polished and threaded with a piece of bright red string. The stones seemed to glow softly in the firelight. Zara's eyes filled with tears. It's beautiful, she whispered. Thank you. Zara smiled, her heart light. I have found my place here, she replied. I feel like I have finally found a home. Amina nodded. You are a family now. Zara, we are all so glad you came. As they sat together, the sun began to set, painting the sky with bright orange and pinks. Zara felt a deep sense of peace. She knew that she had faced many challenges, but she had grown stronger, kinder, and more understanding. She had learned the power of forgiveness, the strength in facing her fears, and the importance of loving the community. As the stars appeared in the sky, Zara whispered to herself, "I'm not cursed, I'm blessed." And in that moment, Zara knew that her story was just beginning, filled with endless possibilities and a future as bright as the stars above. The days that followed were filled with joy and peace. Zara became an important part of the village. She helped Mama Juma heal the sick, told the children stories of bravery and kindness, and worked with the villagers to plant new crops and build new homes. One day, as she was sitting by the river, Amina came to sit beside her. "Thank you for staying," Amina said quietly. "You have brought so much good to our village and to my heart." Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for reaching this far. Kindly, always be kind. Don't judge anyone by his or her looks. Don't judge before you discover the truth or anything that you're curious about. Be welcoming to anyone that comes to you, either your home, your workplace, or in a community. Always be understanding, be loving, and be brave, and be decisive. Know what you want. Be determined to face any challenge that comes your way, as long as you know what you're going to do is right. This character has showed us to be brave and fight for what fully ours. So leave something in the comment section. Subscribe if you've not yet subscribed to this channel, and please don't forget the notification bell, and leave something in the comment section. Like this video, share it, so that a friend and a friend and a friend can hear or listen to this lovely story. So this is the end of it, and bye bye. See you in my next video, and I believe that you've liked it and you've learned something out of it.